Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today, Toyota has invited us out to Overland Expo East, where we get to take a look at a lot of the new models that they have. Behind me, we have the all-new 2025 Toyota 4Runner. This is the Trailhunter edition, and in today's head-to-head comparison, we're going to take a look at the 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser as well. Now, both of these have some similarities, but they also share significant differences. For the Toyota 4Runner, you're going to have 6 to 9 trim levels. We don't have pricing for this just yet, but there will be a lot of trim levels to choose from. With those trim levels, there's also going to be different drivetrains. You'll have just rear-wheel drive, you'll have part-time 4-wheel drive, and you'll also have full-time 4-wheel drive. So we may have some trim levels like the Limited on the Tacoma, which will have that full-time 4-wheel drive system. For the 4Runner as well, you have 2 different engine options. You'll have the base 2.4 liter turbo or the hybrid version, so that way you can get more power out of that if you would like. As we work our way over to the Land Cruiser, this is only going to be full-time 4-wheel drive. You only have 1 engine option, which is the iForce Max, which is that hybrid system. And then you only have 3 different trim levels for the Land Cruiser. Behind us, we have the base. So in today's head-to-head comparison, we have a base Land Cruiser and pretty much a fully loaded 4Runner. So some of the trim accents and materials on the Land Cruiser can be equivalent if you get the higher trim levels. Now let's work our way to the exterior styling, where we did a little bit more of a full detailed review in another video if you want to check it out. But you'll notice with this, we have a really nice set of headlight housings. You'll notice the compass and Trailhunter on the side. That will actually illuminate at nighttime, which is a really nice touch. We also get all the bronze accents for the Trailhunter. You get a forward-facing camera, Ridges Industries fog lights as well with that light bar. And there's also skid plates underneath. You'll notice Trailhunters also stamped in that lower section. And you can also get a look at the suspension too. We have that Old Man Emu setup, along with Trailhunter up on the upper control arms. So we have about a 2-inch lift up front for this model, as well as about an inch and a half in the rear. And keep in mind that is for the Trailhunter, so if you get a more base model, you won't have some of these goodies. But we get a really nice set of wheels too, rock sliders. There's even the intake here too, so you can hear that when you have the window cracked. We have the large fender flares there. Really nice overall design for this SUV. And then in back, still retains the spoiler, the window that rolls up and down. You can also lock and unlock it too with those controls. We're able to tow with this roughly 5,500, 6,000 pounds or so. And there's also the exhaust there. We have all the parking sensors too. Really nice exterior design for this model. Now, as we work our way over to the Land Cruiser, let's start in the back here, where we have a similar design with the spoiler up top. However, we have a different glass. So unlike the 4Runner, you can actually open this independently still, so it doesn't slide up and down, but you still get that option, which is great. We have a little bit different of a design here, really massive cover for the trailer hitch there, but we have the same exhaust, we have the sensors as well. And then to the side, we don't have that same fender flare arch like on the 4Runner, so it's a little bit more slim. This model here has the Heritage graphic too, which is a really neat touch. You don't have rock sliders for this from the factory, but again, this is the base model here. We have a little bit different of a design for those mirrors too. A little bit more squared off versus over on the 4Runner, you can see a little bit more slim. And then up front, we get a sensor, no camera for this model. I believe that's optional for the higher trim levels. We have a different design for the grille. This is resembling a little bit more of the old school design from Toyota, having more of a boxy design versus on the 4Runner, it's kind of mimicking the Tacoma and the Tundra as well. We get a little bit different of a design for the fog lights and more of a retro look for the headlight design too. On some of the higher trim levels, you can get LEDs with the squared off design too. But let's take a look at the interiors now for both of these models. For this Land Cruiser, like I said, this is the base model, so we have a little bit different material. So if you want to get some more premium materials, you can go with a higher trim level. We have all the window controls there, plenty of storage down below. You have some safety features, trailer braking system too. There's even the power outlet in the bed, which we will show. You get a really nice design for the steering wheel with all of your controls here for Bluetooth, music, cruise control, things like that. You'll also get 2 different size screens, same within the 4Runner there. You get heated seats. We have all the climate adjustments. You might get wireless charging over on this side. There's a bunch of auxiliaries. You have your mode selector for your on-road driving. You also have the ECT second gear. You have downhill assist and crawl control. And then we do have a center and a rear locker. So you can use those independently, just depending on the terrain that you are on with your 4-wheel drive system here. You have a little bit of storage in the middle. You get plenty of storage on the glove box there. And then with that seat at my height, which is also manual adjusting. So you do have to slide this. You have all those controls down below. Let's take a look at the rear, where we have the cloth seats for this model. but I'd say you still have a good bit of space. At 5'10", I have plenty of room here. I have 4 or 5 inches of headroom, so it's really spacious. You get all of your climate adjustments, you get auxiliaries, you also get the armrest with cup holders too, and then there's air vents up top. So honestly, very spacious for its size. This is also only offered with the 2 rows. In the 4Runner, you can get the 3rd row if you would like, but you still have the same adjustments with these seats. So if you need to get into the back for whatever reason, you have an easier way to do that, and you can of course fold these flat too for more storage. Now let's come back to the cargo space real quick. Where this model, it is manual. Power is available on the higher trim levels, but you'll notice in the back here that we have a good bit of storage. You also have a little bit of hidden storage up underneath the floor here. We have that inverter over on this side. It looks like Toyota still retained the cup holder storage even without that 3rd row, but you could place items in there if you need to. And you have 2 grab handles that are up top. So let's work our way to the all-new Toyota 4Runner now, where we have a very nice interior for the Trailhunter. We have the unique color for this design, along with the badging underneath. You get a lot of storage, you even get memory seats, so these are power operating, which is nice. We have that rock slider there to help us out on this incline here. Take a look at all the controls for this model. We have all the auxiliaries, we have all of the lighting. You can even adjust the pitch of the headlights, so you're not blinding people in front of you, which I know they're very thankful for. We have a little bit different of a design for the steering wheel, a little bit more Tundra 4Runner-esque, where we have the same controls, so it's a pretty similar layout. We have the large screen for the Trailhunter. Some of the lower trim levels, you can get that 7 or 8 inch screen, which is nice. But we have heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, all of your climate adjustments. There's also wireless charging, tons of storage. You get a grab handle too, which is nice. For this model, we have the 4-wheel drive selector. You get tow and haul. There is a trailer braking system over on the backside of the steering wheel there. But you also have your downhill assist, your multi-terrain select, crawl control, and driving modes for on-road. Now this is a pre-production model, so we can't turn this on, but the on-road driving modes are normal, sport, and eco, so you can use those as needed. We also have the backup assistance. You have a view icon for that 360 camera system. You only have a rear locker for this. Having crawl control, that basically gives you that front locker, but we do have the independent rear, sway bar disconnect. A little bit different of a design in the middle here. Not quite as much storage in the armrest, but you also get the glove box with more storage up top. And we have that digital rear view mirror. Now as the overall feel goes between the Land Cruiser and this 4Runner here, with the Land Cruiser, like I mentioned, on the higher trim levels, you can get a lot of these Softex materials, which are going to be about the same, but its overall feel, it's a lot more simple feeling in the Land Cruiser. In the 4Runner here, we have some more depth. We have a lot more layers to the dashboard, a little bit more aggressive of an interior versus the Land Cruiser. So this is a little bit more of that Trekkie feel, that more off-road focused feel versus the Land Cruiser. So just 2 different styles basically. For the back of the 4Runner now, if we hop into it, we have the seat all the way up, but they do recline. So honestly, you get a little bit more headroom in the Land Cruiser just with its overall shape, but you have a good bit of space. You only have vents in the back, so there's no temperature adjustments, which is interesting to see, but it's nice that you have the vents regardless. And then with the 4Runner, we have pretty much the same design with these seats here that you can flip up. And you can opt for the 3rd row, no 3rd row for this option, but you have the same way in order to get in and out of that 3rd row. And then last up, let's come back to the window, where I know a lot of 4Runner owners are excited about this window. If you're bringing your dog with you or just in general to reach into the back, super nice to have, and you can use these to lock and unlock this vehicle too. And then for this model, when we open up the liftgate, this does have power. And then we have about the same amount of space in the back. Both of them had this upper lip here being the hybrid models, so we have some of that stored underneath, but it's not all that bad with what it has. Trailhunter also gives you the air compressor, which is sweet. And then we have a lot of storage in the back. If you had the 3rd row, that would be very plentiful for them as well. And then we can easily close that liftgate up. All right, so with all of those specs out of the way, talking about the Land Cruiser and the Toyota 4Runner now, basically main differences between this, if you're looking for a little bit more heritage, go with the Land Cruiser. It's something that's going to be a little bit more refined feeling out on the road. You have the option for that center locker and the rear locker too. You can still take that off-road. You can go with the higher trim levels as well. So these are both going to be comparable in the off-roading platform as far as their wheelbase, dimensions, and everything like that go. With the 4Runner here, if you're looking for that third row, you need a little bit more space and you still want that smaller size SUV, this is going to be a great option to go with. Option for option, the 4Runner is going to cost less than the Land Cruiser. Fully loaded Land Cruisers right around $80,000 or so. We don't have official pricing on the 4Runner yet, but we can guess maybe between $55,000 and $70,000 based on the Toyota Tacoma. So I think it's going to be very similar in that pricing. So you're going to have some fairly competitive or comparable vehicles, but a little bit less of a cost for the 4Runner here. And if you just want something that looks a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more masculine, I'll say, you can go with the 4Runner versus more of that sleeker heritage design, a little bit more of a tribute to the old school Toyotas. Well, that's going to wrap it up for our head-to-head comparison with the all-new Toyota 4Runner. Hopefully we can get this out on the road and see how it drives. I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to the Toyota Tacoma, which we have experience with. And then we do have reviews on the Land Cruiser, so you can check those out for even more driving impressions. But if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up, consider smashing that subscribe button, and we will see you all in the next video.